Degree of difficulty on this is a 3.0. Way to start off, Derek Bowers. Very solid dive there. Setting a precedent. 61.50 for Derek Bowers on that first dive. And here's Caleb Keck of West Virginia with an inward 2.5 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 2.7. Could have had the entry a little better there. A little over rotation. 52.65 for Caleb Keck. And diving third, Owen Monchino with a forward 2.5 somersault pike. Excellent distance from the board there. Nice solid fluid motion. For the degree of difficulty at 2.4, a solid score, 49.20. And Reed Merritt diving fourth with an inward 2.5 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 2.7. Could have seen a little better fluid into the entry, but it shouldn't be too bad of a takeaway from that. A good dive. 60.75 for Reed Merritt there out of Texas. That brings him into second place right behind Derek Bowers, who started off with a 3.0 degree of difficulty. Here's Austin Smith, an inward 2.5 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 2.7. And definitely over-rotated on that on the entry. Should see that some little bit of deduction there on that. Yeah, 36.45 for Austin Smith on his first dive. Definitely wants to see a better run there. Michael Prorieto of West Virginia here. Inward 2.5 somersault pike, degree of difficulty 3.0. I believe this was the same dive Derek Bowers did to get his first, to get the high score so far. Let's see if Michael Prorieto can beat that 61.50 here. And there it is. 63 brings Michael Prorieto into first place with two of probably the best divers left from the season. Logan McHenry of West Virginia, the forward 3.5 somersault pike. Degree of difficulty 3.1. Very solid dive there from Logan McHenry. Let's see if he gets the award for it. And the highest so far of round one, 68.20 for Logan McHenry. Logan McHenry broke the school record with a score of 3,800 this year. And here's Jordan Wendell, first time we've seen him, with a forward 3.5 somersault pike, degree of difficulty 3.1. And Jordan Wendell has been destroying this year. Diver of the week 4 times this year. Super dominant. Look at that. 9s across the board. 8.5 for an 83.70 in the first round. Great score for Jordan Wendell in that first round. Jordan Wendell is a freshman, so we're going to see big things from him for Texas as his collegiate athletic career continues. Here's Derek Bowers with a forward 3.5 somersault pike, degree difficulty 3.1. Would have been nice if he could have exited the pike a little earlier to find himself for that entry. A little too much rotation going into the water there. But still a pretty solid dive. 54.25 for Jordan Windle. Excuse me, for Derek Bowers. And Caleb Keck of West Virginia doing a forward 2.5 somersault pike, degree of difficulty 2.4. Definitely want to come out of that pike a little more fluid than that. Little too much rotation. 44.40 for Caleb Keck on there. Owen Monchino of TCU with a forward 2.5 somersault, 1 twist pike. Degree difficulty 3.0. Let's see if he can land this. Nice on the twist and that pike. Unfortunately, he just couldn't find his inertia there and went a little too far on that entry. 4.950 there for him on that dive. And Reed Merritt for Texas here on his second dive, a forward 3.5 somersault tuck, degree difficulty 2.8. Definitely the entry was not what Reed would want for himself. Tuck was very tight, very solid, with a 51.80 there for Reed Merritt. I think a definite solid score for that entry. Austin Smith for West Virginia, second dive, a forward 3.5 somersault tuck, degree difficulty 2.8. It's the dive we just saw. And he should get a good score here, especially since the dive right before him was not as good as that, and it was the same dive. And there we see 60.20 for Austin Smith. So definitely got a nice solid score there in round 2. Here's Michael Prieto of West Virginia with a forward 3.5 somersault pike, degree difficulty 3.1. And that looked very nice. Just a little harder to do the pike than the tuck. And let's see if he gets awarded for solid 7, 66.65 there for Michael Prieto. That brings him into first place above Derek Bowers of TCU and Reed Merritt of Texas for second and third. Logan McHenry with a forward 2.5 somersault, 1 twist pike, degree difficulty 3.0. Pretty solid. The entry could be just a tiny bit better, but yeah. And the judges give him a 60 for the award. Could have done better. Jordan Windle, the super freshman, with a backwards 2.5 somersault pike here, degree difficulty 3.0. Let's see if he can keep up the big numbers. 83.70 on the first dive. Nailed the entry. Already a super solid performance from Jordan. Let's see if he can keep it together. Waiting for the score on Jordan currently. Wow, a 10. We got all 9s at 110 and 109.5 for an 81. Currently at 164 for Jordan Windle, 164.70. Already almost 40 plus points on any competition. Here's Derek Bowers with the first dive of round 3. Backwards 2.5 somersault pike, degree of difficulty 3.0. Nice solid dive for the 3.0 degree of difficulty. Probably would have liked to see a little better of a score there, but still a solid number. 60 for the third dive for Derek Bowers. Caleb Keck with a forward 3.5 somersault pike. 3.1 degree difficulty, did not find the entry there. The most we should see fours across the board. All fours, 1 3.5, 1 4.5, a 37.20 for Caleb Keck. We'll see if he's able to come back from that. And now we see Owen Monchino with a forward 3.5 somersault pike, degree difficulty 3.1. He had a forward 3.5 somersault tuck previously. Let's see if he can find the inertia this time. I would say that was much better than his tuck dive. You should see a nice solid number here. Nice 65.10 for Owen. Just 1 6, 6.5 there. All sevens and 2 7.5s. Reed Merritt for Texas with a backwards 2.5 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 2.8. A little bit of an early release, but a nice solid entry. And he got awarded for that one. All eights with 1 8.5, 67.20. Currently brings him into first place with a little bit of the round 3 left. Austin Smith here doing a forward 2.5 somersault 1 twist pike, degree of difficulty 3.0. Very tight there, nice solid. Would have been nice to see the arms on the twist have a little more of a spread. And you got a 63 there for the award. Good number for him though. Michael Prieto, a forward 2.5 somersault 1 twist pike, degree of difficulty 3.0. Definitely better flow on that dive than Austin Smith had. So the 67.50 pretty much scored the same for Michael Prieto. That brings him into first place now. Logan McHenry with a reverse 2.5 somersault pike, degree difficulty 3.0. Nice distance from the board. Could have found the entry a little quicker, but I don't think he's going to get discounted from that too much. Solid 7.5s for him. Logan McHenry with a 67.50 for West Virginia. Logan McHenry got Diver of the Week this year and is already qualified for the NCAA and the 1 meter. And here's Jordan Wendell with a reverse 3.5 somersault tuck. The hardest dive we've seen today. Wow. Reverse 3.5 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 3.5 on that dive. Jordan Wendell's really going for it here. $87.50 there. And Jordan Wendell's just starting to take this away from everybody. Up 50 points currently going into round 4. We're going to start seeing Jordan Wendell holding on to first place, even with divers in round 4 completing their 4th round dive. Derek Bowers here with a reverse 2.5 somersault pike, degree of difficulty 3.0. Definitely got there. There was a pretty large splash there, though. Looked like he hit the with his shoulders on the rotation and created just a little bit too much of a splash there. Definitely want to find that entry earlier. 49.50 for Derek Bowers on that. And as I said earlier, Jordan Windle still holding on to first after Derek Bowers' fourth dive. Caleb Keck here with a forward 2.5 somersault, 1 twist pike. Degree of difficulty 3.0 on that one. It looked like a pretty solid dive. I see around 7s. 6.5s and 7. Award 60 for Caleb Keck there. Owen Mancino with a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. Degree of difficulty 2.8. And you want to see him get that entry without the over rotation. I feel like he's over rotating just a little bit every time. 47.60 there. The good thing about doing something every time is that means you can correct it. Reed Merritt, currently out for Texas with a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck here. Degree of difficulty 2.8. Solid dive there. There's a little bit of a hitch in his dive in between the tuck and the entry, but he still gets a great reward there. 63 for Reed Merritt. Brings him into second place behind Jordan Windle. Austin Smith with a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck here. Degree difficulty 2.8. We'll see how they score that. The transition between the tuck and the entry could have been a little more fluid. 56 points for Austin Smith there. Michael Proieto, the forward 2.5 somersault, 2 twist pike, degree difficulty 3.4, the hardest dive for him of the meet. Very solid on the twist. We'll see how they award that entry. Yeah, you definitely could have been a better one for him, but a 3.4 degree difficulty gets him to 64.60 on the dive. And that he takes Jordan Windle's first place spot. Of course, Jordan Windle still has to do his round 4 dive. Logan McHenry with a backwards 2.5 somersault pike here, degree difficulty 3.0. Definite over rotation on that entry for Logan McHenry. Big splash. That is not what Logan McHenry wants to see. 4s across the board for 36. And currently it brings him to only 4th place, trailing Jordan Windle with just another dive. 3.8 degree of difficulty here. Forward 4.5 somersault tuck. Wow. He is going to be something. Once again, Jordan Windle is just a freshman here at Texas. 74.10. And just 6.5s across the board there on that 3.8, but it's almost like they're trying to make it competitive for Jordan Windle. Keep the wind underneath him. Here's Derek Bowers with a backwards 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twist, degree of difficulty 2.4. Should see some of these divers going into less difficult dives here in these last 2 rounds. That was a very nice dive, very fluid. Got to the twist early and had a lot of time to find the entry. Still want better scores than that, though, on a degree of difficulty 2.4. Only awarded a 46.80 for the dive. Caleb Keck with a reverse 2.5 somersault pike here, degree of difficulty 3.0. Sure that the judges saw a little bit of that entry. Could have been better. All 6s, 2 6.5, 1 5.5, 54 for Caleb Keck. And here's a back 2.5 somersault pike here for Owen Mancino, degree of difficulty 3.0. Definitely did not. Tried to overcorrect his over rotations and then under rotated on this one. 42 for Owen Mancino on that. 5s and 4.5s littering the board there. Reed Merritt with a reverse 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist here for a degree of difficulty of 2.9. And if he could have held that entry just a little straighter, that would have been a really great dive for him. It was a great 2.5 twist. Get some good solid scores there, though, for a 65.25 on that. Austin Smith with a backwards 2.5 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 2.8. Austin Smith has a really nice form exiting his tucks. Keeps those arms really close. Of course, he would want much better than that. 5.5s and 4.5s for a 40.60 for Austin Smith in round 5. Michael Prieto with a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck here, degree of difficulty 2.8. Looks like he exited the tuck a little early there and had a little too much time to find the entry. 54.60 for Michael Prieto, keeping him behind Jordan Windle for first place. Here's Logan McHenry with a backwards 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist, degree of difficulty 2.8. Looked like he questioned his entry there. He had it, and then he kind of decided not to execute all the way. 57.40 for Logan McHenry on his 5th dive. Jordan Windle still in first place before doing his round 5 dive. Forward 2.5 somersault, 2 twist pike, degree of difficulty 3.4. Very solid. Well, he's going above and beyond everybody else on the degree of difficulties here, but the judges are still going to judge it the way they should, and only get 7s there. 71.40 for the dive for Jordan Windle, but still he's a full dive ahead of anybody else now. Derek Bowers for TCU with an inward 2.5 somersault pike, degree of difficulty 3.0. Very solid dive there. Nice distance from the board. Found an entry. I will think that he's going to get a nice score here. 106.5, all sevens, 63. That's a nice number for Derek Bowers. Caleb Keck, a backwards 2.5 somersault pike here. Degree of difficulty 3.0. Did not find the entry there. Caleb Keck on the dive. .46.50 for Caleb Keck. Mostly fives there. And here's Owen Monchino of TCU with an inward 2.5 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 2.7. That's Owen's best dive of the day there with a 60.75. It's good to see him finding himself and pulling it off in round 6. Here's Reed Merritt with a backwards 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist, degree of difficulty 2.8. A little bit of an over rotation there. You can see the splash happen because of it, but still solid twist there. All sixes across the board there. 1.6.5, 1.5.5. And after the 5th diver in round 6, Jordan Windle still on top. Here's Austin Smith with a backwards 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist, degree of difficulty 2.8. All sixes and sevens, 54.60 there for Austin Smith. And Michael Prieto most likely going to get 2nd place here in the 3 meter with a backwards 2.5 somersault pike, degree of difficulty 3.0. Pretty solid. You want to see a little closer to the board there. That's what created that entry. 58.50 for Michael Prieto. Bring him into 2nd place here with only Logan McHenry to compete for that. And Logan McHenry is not going to be catching Michael Prieto. So that's 2nd place. Jordan Windle in 1st and 2nd solidified here. And Logan McHenry did not find himself too much on these ones. He was not confident in his entries there on the last 2 dives. Inward 2.5 somersault pike there, 3.0 for him. 55.50 on the dive. And just some icing on the cake here for Jordan Windle. Currently in 1st place without this dive. Inward 3.5 somersault tuck, degree of difficulty 3.4. See what he can add to his total. Jeez. Jordan Windle, you are a beast, young man. Freshman. 73.10. Jordan Windle, we saw the only 10 of the day. The only 10 of the, so far of the Big 12. That's 4.780 for Jordan Windle. Very solid showing for him. Almost 100 points above 2nd place Michael Prieto. It's going to be a treat to see Jordan Wendell after his 4th year here at Texas, when he's a senior, see how far he can go. Jordan Wendell with a 470.80. Michael Prieto in second for West Virginia with a 374.85, and Reed Merritt in third for Texas.